Hi there, welcome to the Digital JST Show, your go to podcast for digital marketing insights that drive business growth and career success. I am JST Anandan, your host, and this podcast is brought to you by Digital JST. That's my digital marketing consultancy helping businesses worldwide. You can check it out at digitaljst.com. Whether you are a B2B business looking to expand your online presence or a professional in a full time job or freelancing, this podcast is designed to help you learn from top marketing experts and make smarter, more strategic decisions. If you are watching on YouTube, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon for updates. If you are listening on any podcast app, follow the Digital JSD show, and if you like the show, leave a rating. Alright, let's jump right in. Today's guest is Tamojit Saha, a health tech leader from Canada with nearly 2 decades of experience in the IT and healthcare innovation space. He currently leads the AI transformation at a major health technology company that works across public and private sectors in Canada. What makes his story especially relevant for our listeners like B2B businesses, consultants, and business leaders is his clear perspective on how AI should augment teams instead of replacing them. He leads initiatives that help employees upskill and stay relevant. He also brings deep insight into global work cultures, the power of speaking up, and how communication skills can often accelerate a career faster than technical skills alone. If you run a business, lead a team, or want to stay future ready in an AI driven world, this conversation will reshape how you think about growth and leadership. Welcome, Tamojit. Excited to have you on the podcast today.
Thank you, Jesse. I'm also excited to chat about AI and all the stuffs with you.
Awesome. So let's kick off the conversation. Your company uses AI to reskill rather than replace people. What can businesses learn from that, especially those worried about team costs or skill gaps?
Oh, that's a great question. I can tell you, in the industry, any industry is not just my industry. The conversation around AI is more on excitement and fear still, right? I think in our company, we have taken completely a different approach. AI is not just to here replace people. It is more like elevate them, reskill them, right? We believe the biggest competitive advantage is not just technology. It is when team that can use it or the team can harness it, right? I think in the overall industry nowadays, most of the organization don't rely on just on the technology skill set, right? They don't truly have the talent shortage. I think what is they have is more like a alignment mismatch on the skill set, right? So, or in the current world, they say as a skill set shortage, right? So I think reskilling them, it's a more important, not just, replacing them. I think that's just a fear. One thing I can tell you is putting AI hands off employees early. It's very important of any type of AI transformations. People can learn best doing the work, right? When we use AI tools to automate our day-to-day work, free up some time, I think they get the excitement more on that time, right? So then we teach teams how to use those same tools to enhance their roles, right? So I think that is where they can take the faster decision making. And of course, end of the day, better customer insights, right? So that's very important from the skilling point of view. One more point I will say over here is shifting mindset also very important. Shifting mindset from job security to skill security. I think that's very important on this AI transformation journey. When people use the AI, they see the possibility on their career also, rather than just shrinking them, right? Instead of fear, we see curiosity, we see excitement, we see ownership to take the work, right? So that's why I think in our company also we use the AI to more like a reskill rather than just toward the replace the people.
Correct. I believe like it should be like people should believe in outcomes rather than thinking
Mm-hmm.
whether AI will is doing it or human is doing it, because it's obviously the collaboration and human cannot maybe have so much creativity, so we can just get the help of AI and improve on that and bring out the best results.
Yep.
That's the mindset shift that businesses should have. So you have said entry level jobs won't go away, they will just evolve. Can you share how young professionals can make themselves valuable in an AI driven world?
Absolutely. I think This is one of the most important narrative to reshape. I feel like nowadays I see everywhere. I think there's a misconception that AI will eliminate the traditional starting point of young talent. I think my point of view is completely different. Entry level work will not disappear. It will transforming into faster and more strategic launch pad, I will say. With AI, I think the foundational work will be automated, you know, but not to remove the entry level roles like a college grads, right? But if you think opposite way, it will accelerate the learning curve, right? Most of the organization hire these college grades, but every organization or enterprise level systems are very complicated. It takes time for those individuals to learn about those systems, right? Or learn about the business. Just imagine AI will accelerate those learning curve, right? So I think, and those young talent can use more business driven solving real problems rather than just to learn what documents through the Word documents or spreadsheets, right? And young professional can spend more time to analyze the insights, creating the relationship with the business stakeholders, right? Solving the real problem rather than just sitting and learning of the system, right? So I think everybody have to adopt the new AI, and I can say entry level never go away. I think entry level mindset is very important to use AI, right? So it's a funny way. I was reading something and it was a line that you don't need to be a data scientist, but everybody has to be AI literate, right?
Correct.
How you break down a problem so that AI can assist you. Guess what? The young generation can let us know much better than we can do, right? So it's more like how you're taking the approach. And I think young generation or young talent will adopt that thing much faster than us. Also, one point before ending, I will say is entry level employees who understand the why behind the work, right? They question us, right? Because they're new. They are just fresh out of the college, right? So guess what? They will can spend more time to understand the why behind the work rather than just jumping on the execution, right? They can understand the customer, they can understand the product, they can understand the outcomes. And that is where AI can help them. And the moment they will understand that, I think it's endless. They can give us more value on an early stage of their career, right? So according to me, I don't think so entry level jobs will just disappear just because of AI.
Yeah, and to add one more thing, and younger generation are smarter than us. We are
Yeah.
experienced in terms of business, but they are smarter than
Yeah.
us. So let's
Yeah.
get the help from them and grow our business better than thinking that they are
Yeah.
just college grad.
Yeah.
So how can AI be used not just for efficiency, but to actually grow revenue or serve businesses better?
I think it's just a mind shift change. It's a very critical shift in mindset. I think over the years, and it is nothing AI. If you see the automation, if you see the cloud transformations, AI also positions primarily as a efficiency tool. Automate the task, reduce the cost, streamline the operations, create the efficiency in operations, right? But I think also AI give us a path to create some new products or launch the product much faster, right? I think it's more competitive. It is actually a real competitive advantage when AI becomes a revenue engine, just not the cost cutting tool, right? And what I can say is in our world also, we see that AI accelerate the innovation. AI accelerate the speed to market, right? Because lot of insight cycles, lot of research, lot of testing, lot of iteration of those things can be faster through AI nowadays, right? So end of the day, the pre-execution steps are now really fast tracking, right? So speed to market is actually improving, right? And that way you are actually creating more revenue. You are making faster to market, and businesses are able to create new revenue engines, right? And also other things we need to understand is things are changing on how business models are drafting now because of AI. Traditionally we used to have subscription models, right? Now there's a lot of models like usage made services, right? Because now companies have the data how clients are using it, right? And they're monetizing that data, and they're that based on the data they are making more customized usage based services, right? Also we do a lot of predictive maintenance rather than just reactive service calls, right? So, there's no much service calls because of that predictive maintenance through AI, right? So I think this is very important to create that mindset that AI is just not for automation. Very frankly, as a IT leader, as a technology specialist, I believe AI should not use just for the automation. For automation, there's 100 other tools are available for in the market, right? I think AI should be used to create, of course, efficiency, absolutely, but more than that, have that as a mindset that to create more like a business revenue stream, more business products in the industry.
Absolutely. Okay, so you have worked across India and Canada, two different work cultures. What lessons or practices from global teams do you think can help people become more innovative and confident at work?
It's an interesting question. Absolutely. I think working across India and Canada has been one of the most valuable parts of my technology journey or leadership journey. It's a very two different business environment, but each brings strengths and everything is essential for innovation mindsets. If I just compare in India, you see a lot of strong culture of resourcefulness. People are used to solve complex problems with limited resources, right? That build a creativity, that build a, let's make it happen mindset, right? And also deep ambition of a real drive to grow and take the responsibility of it, right? When I moved to Canada, I see a little different culture. In Canada, the strength comes from, I will say, psychological safety, if that makes sense, or more like a structured collaborations between the business and IT teams, right? We don't see those things in India, right? Because it's more like an execution pattern, right? Teams make here space for diverse voices. They discuss a lot on the business, right? And they understand the context, right? So, and also decision making also very transparent, right? In India, over Canada, right? So it's a two different culture. But if you combine these two different culture, that's, I think, the powerful strength of any leaders. It is not just because I worked in India and Canada. I think everybody who is working in Canada also now understanding these type of things, because a lot of people work with different outsourcing companies and we learn from each other, right? So embracing the ownership mindset is very important and doesn't matter it's in India or in Canada. And one thing for sure I can say, Canadian culture encourages the open dialogue and curiosity. When people feel safe to ask, what if we tried this? What if we tried that? Right? And those new thinking really make differences inside the team and inside the organization. So I'm lucky to have those two experiences, but that's a short way to explain my 15 to 20 years of experience between India and Canada.
Okay, that's good. I think we need to adapt, like the companies or the countries who doesn't have the open mindset of having open dialogue. That should be encouraged so that even employees feel inclusive and they can share their thoughts and ideas so that they can grow the company. Okay, so you have spent nearly 2 decades in IT and now lead AI transformation at a global health tech company. What key lessons from your journey can today's businesses and consultants apply to stay adaptable in changing industries?
No, that's interesting. I think the first thing I will say is lead with a clear purpose. It's just not about technology, you know. And I think I was telling you automation and then cloud, now AI. I feel like these are all are accelerators. These are all enablers. But without the purpose, without the business driven purpose, transformation becomes just a checklist. And we don't like to be just a part of checklist. And in healthcare, in my industry also, our purpose is improving patient outcomes. That becomes the goal, right? That becomes the North Star, right? If a technology initiative doesn't make care faster, more affordable, and more accessible, we should challenge that, right? That is how the clear purpose is very important on this point. And I think that same time we should build a culture where learning should be continuous. Learning should not change should be learning should be continuous, and it should not be just within the time frame, right? I think this is the hardest first part now, right? And the skills have a shelf life now. It is just a maybe 6 month or 1 year. Things are changing so fast, right? It is not anymore decades, right? Previously, when we pass our colleges, like if you learn something, we use that thing 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. But nowadays, it's so fast. The shelf life of a skill is very short. We need to adopt that. And guess what? AI can help on that one. AI can give you that hands-on tool to fail first and to learn first also, right? So that is one way my lesson learned. And also I will say is it's break silos, right? The biggest leap in my career happened when I stopped thinking like just a technology specialist and start thinking as a business partner. When you talk with those business stakeholders, you will not care about just a solution. You care about how it can help the business, right? So we embedded AI thinking more on that part rather than just a technology part. But again, we also need to be careful about the operations. We have to also need to be careful the compliance part of it. That's all needs to be taken care. But it should be part of the overall goal rather than just one side of the story.
Awesome. So you've spoken about how speaking up can grow careers. Why do you think professionals often hesitate to speak up and how can they overcome that?
This is a topic I'm very passionate about. Trust me. Because I've seen how a single moment of speaking up can change someone's entire career, right? Many talent professionals are stay quiet, right? It's not because they don't have ideas. I think it's because they just don't want to express it, or maybe I will say fear of being wrong, right? That culture needs to be stopped. The organization should be more open enough that people can be wrong sometimes, right? So fear of being wrong should be removed from a team culture or from organizational culture, right? And that's why people sometimes fails, right? And also I think a few minutes back we were discussing about the psychological safety, right? And I think that's also should be the part of the culture in organization, that creating a psychological safety within a discussion is very important. The how we should start is start with a small. Everybody cannot just start to speaking up, right? We don't need a great idea or grand idea to speak up, right? In a small meetings, right? I always encourage the new generations or college grads to ask some questions, share some, ideas, offer some small improvements, right? Share some customer feedbacks, right? In a group sessions, right? And those small things really matters. And slowly you can create that confidence to speak up more, right? That's also giving you the stepping stone to become a leader, right? So of course you need to speak up on that. And you know sometimes you also need to think that I don't have the full answer, let's figure it out together by speaking up, right? And a lot of times you can find the solution when you speak up with someone rather than just thinking by yourself or just writing bunch of code in a keyboard, right? So it's very important to speak up. It is very important to have that open conversations, in a team, one on one with a coffee, anything, right? So that's very important. Speaking up, nothing on the technology side. I think in a industry today, speaking up is very important on our early stage itself.
All right. So you have led a company where open communication and speaking up are encouraged. How can leaders create a work culture where people feel safe to share ideas and speak up, and how does that ultimately impact the brand's growth?
In my experience, I think what I felt is organization really don't struggle with lack of ideas. They struggle with lack of air time for those ideas. What I mean is when voices are suppressed, potential is suppressed also, right? So we have to make the voices are amplified so that performance will be amplified, right? I will say that leaders go first, right? I think that's the best model. Create the psychological safety at the top. And when leaders start admitting mistakes from the team and ask open questions, teams get more confident on it, right? And another thing is also you need to understand is open communication is good, but sharing the ideas should not be a surprise. Sharing ideas should not be a process of 2 or 3 times in a year. It should be part of the system. It should be part of the process, part of the day-to-day things that teams can come up and give an idea to a leader that, can we do this way, right? So I think create that culture is very important. And one more point, I think it's a very, very important in what I observe in my career also, the reward the behavior, not just the outcome. I think we still in a time where we recognize a team, we recognize a person who execute the idea or did the awesome job and defect free in production, right? But I think we start rewarding the behavior. Some people may not have the execution power, but some people may have the brain power to come up with a great idea and give that idea to the execution people, right? So reward the behavior is very important, not just the outcome. I think these all things will change the culture of a company. It's not about the organizational capable of seeing the risk earlier, capable of the seizing the opportunity earlier, making sure that people are, excited about behavior rather than just an outcome, excited about the part of the just work, right? Rather than, just doing the work. A small contribution of that big project also make a lot of differences, right? So these all things should be the part of the work culture.
Awesome. So you mentioned digital marketing and public speaking played a big role in your professional growth. Why should professionals care about building an online presence today?
Um, Absolutely. I always say in today's world, your online presence is your digital first impression. I'm telling you why. A quick example. If you go to an interview and before anyone meets you or, having a discussion with you, nowadays what they do, they Google about you. They check where are you in LinkedIn, right? So guess what? The mindset is now going is more digital experience, or is this person is actually available? And I feel like we know more about the person nowadays through the social medias and LinkedIn space rather than the two-page resumes, right?
Correct.
I think visibility creates more opportunity also, right? No matter how good you are at your job, if only handful people can see the impact what you're creating. But if you post something about your job, you did awesome thing and post in your LinkedIn, it can be noticed by many leaders. It can be noticed by recruiters also, right? So building a reputation in a digital space is become now a need rather than nice to have, right? And also I feel like your voice shapes your leadership brand. People just don't follow resumes. They want to follow the stories. They want to follow the perspectives. Especially, I will say intermediate to senior leaders when we interview, we really don't interview what it is just written in a resume. We like to hear the stories, how they solve the problems, how they challenge themselves, right? So those things really you cannot explain in the resumes. And we also can, if you represent all those stories, those perspective, those user journeys through the LinkedIn profiles or digital marketing, guess what? It's a tremendous way of representing yourself rather than just a few words in resume, right? And the last thing I will say is influence is a business capability today. I think in a era of digital transformations, AI transformation, whatever you say, leader must not just execute. They must communicate, rally the teams, inspire the change, and present the change with a clear communication, confidence in the message, engaged diverse audience, right? And guess what? How that is possible? Through the digital marketing, right? So I think digital marketing is very important as a IT leader or any type of business leader. I think it is a very important stepping stone for their career.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tamojit, for being here. Your thoughts on building confident teams, helping people grow, and creating a culture where speaking up actually matters were incredibly valuable. I know our listeners will walk away with practical ideas they can use right away. And to everyone watching on YouTube or listening on any audio podcast, thank you for tuning in. If you found this helpful, share it with someone who will benefit from it. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you, Tamojit.
Thank you, Jesse.
This podcast is brought to you by Digital JST. If you want more tips, strategies, and interviews with top marketing experts from around the world, make sure to subscribe, follow the Digital JST show. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time.